Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Sean John. Welcome to the channel. Today, I got something super special for you. So for everyone who follows the channel faithfully, I just want to say thank you. For everyone who leaves the well-constructed comments, leave the inspiring questions, I just want to say thank you. For everyone who's new to the channel, because the channel is, I'm not going to say blowing up, but the channel is doing well. So thank you. Uh, Let's get as many subscribers as we can so that we can get this message out to as many people as we can. For everyone who is in the Middleman CEO Masterclass and learning how to start your business, hey, look, I appreciate you guys letting me teach you. And I'm excited about your progress and your success. And I'm excited about your journey. And so I can't wait to take the ride with you. And for everybody who's thinking about changing their lives, right? So going from financially struggling to financially free, then you definitely want to learn how to use your phone to make money the same way I do, the same way my students do. And I promise it's going to bless you. If you're interested in getting the blueprint on how to do that, then you're welcome to get into the masterclass. It's going to be awesome. It's full of fire. It's going to be something amazing, something crazy. If you want to get into the masterclass, go immediately and say, hey, I'm ready to start. I'm ready to learn how to make money from my phone because I don't trust these jobs. Then write masterclass in the comments below, and then we'll kind of go from there. So anyway, just want to bless you guys. Hopefully this story that I'm going to share today is something that'll bless you and help change your life. So I wanted to share this real quick before I got out and started doing my morning walk. And so I was getting coffee, like I always do most mornings. And some mornings I don't, but you know, I was getting coffee. And usually whenever I go inside, there's usually not much of a line. So I usually go inside because the line's outside. And so I go inside and I'm waiting for the coffee to come out. And there's this older guy, much older. You could tell he's probably retirement age or beyond. And he was just sitting there looking, looking through some type of pamphlet or something he had, and drinking his coffee. So he's sitting down in the place, and so I saw the guy, and I had never seen him before there, and so we kind of made eye contact, and I was like, good morning. And the guy was like, good morning. And he was like, young man. And I appreciated him calling me young man, but so obviously he was much older. And he was like, you drink a lot of coffee? And I was like, from time to time I stop and get some. So we had some small chat. And then we kind of got off into, hey, what do you do? So it turns out he's from Virginia. He moved here to Dallas. And he's here with family, so he can't really take care of himself. That's what I'm assuming. And he moved here to be closer to family so that they can help him out. He wasn't physically like immobile or anything like that, but he was an older guy. And it got me to thinking. I was like, wait a minute, we are at a time where people are going to be downgrading their lifestyles. We're at a time where if you live in a house, next year you might be living in an apartment. If you live in an apartment today, next year you might be living with family or a relative. And if you live with a family or relative today, next year, you might be living in a boarding house or something, right? So everybody seems to be taking steps down level wise, from great to good to all right, from all right to not so good. And because everything's exploding price-wise and expense-wise, which is forcing the dollar to be stretched, and jobs aren't paying you enough. They're not, listen, your job's not going to pay you enough to live the life you want to live. That's not how it works in most cases, right? And so I was like, all right, well, this guy's probably back, around his daughter and his son-in-law, and they're probably helping him out, and and he's at the end of his working career, and he's just trying to enjoy what's left of his life. And so he says something to me. He said this. He said, Sean, make sure whatever you want to do in life, that you do it now. And I've heard those words before, and I've mentioned it on here. And he said, whatever, the things you want to do in life, do it now. And so I was like, wow, this is a guy that's much older than I am, probably in the last quarter of his life. And he's telling me, he's warning me, whatever you want to do in life, accomplish it now while you still can, while there's still breath in your body, while you still have the energy, while you still have the mental capacity, while you still have the strength, while you still have the will. Accomplish it now. And I've been very bad, like telling people, hey, take your time, don't be in a hurry. And I just want to apologize to each and every one of you and say, look, I'm sorry. I know it's cliche to say, hey, take your time. There's plenty of time. Don't be in a hurry. But that's wrong. There ain't plenty of time. We don't have much time. Even if you live 100 years, you don't have a lot of time. You're going to be dead a lot longer than you're alive. I'm going to be dead a lot longer than I'm alive. The harsh reality is, and we need to remind each other so we can get perspective. The harsh reality is, I'm dying. Don't look at me that way. You're dying too. Every one of us are headed to the grave, right? If the good Lord tarries, we're headed to the grave. Each and every one of us. So what do you want to look back and see on your last breath? What do you want to look back at and see on your last breath? We always talk about like your life flashing before your eyes. I've been in life-threatening situations at least probably 2 times growing up, starting when I was 5 years old. You don't think about your life. I know they say that your whole life flashed before your eyes. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I had a hard life growing up. I've been shot. I still got the bullet hole. I've been stabbed, still got the stab wounds. All my friends know me. I've been burned, which is probably worse than all of them. And, your life don't flash before your eyes. Right? When you're burning, when you're on fire, because the fire is touching my skin. It wasn't just around me, it was on me. You're just thinking about stopping the pain. When you get stabbed, you're just thinking about how much how much blood am I losing? Why am I falling asleep? Why am I so tired all of a sudden? Right? Because you're losing all that blood and you're passing out. And when you get shot, you're like, man, I hope it's not in a bad place. I hope it didn't hit me in a bad place. Fortunately for me, it was in my elbow. But I've had a rough life where I know that when bullets fly by you, they whistle. I've heard it. So what you guys see today on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook is not always what it was. So I'm blessed to be alive today. I'm blessed to be here today. I'm blessed to have my family, have my kids, have a place to stay, have money. Blessed to have those things. So I'm blessed to be able to pull up on a Monday morning and not have to think about work, go get my coffee and go work out, go walk around the neighborhood. To me, that's a blessing. That's a win. So again, you don't have time. You can't afford to sit around and wait. You got to do everything with a sense of urgency. Your whole entire life is a sense of urgency. Your whole entire life is speeding by. Nobody ever died and said, man, that was a long life I lived. Nobody. Everybody say, man, I wish I had more time. The one thing we lose and never get back. You could get your spouse back, your job back, your money back. You could be pronounced dead and get revived, get your life back. But you can never, under any circumstance, get your time back. So please don't take your time for granted. That old man was living and probably dying with regret. And he had some information for me, which I appreciate. And he was like, hey, do everything you want to do now. For some of you, you're living a life you don't want to live. I've been there, done that. For some of you, it's struggle every single day. You wake up to struggle. You go home to struggle. You sleep to struggle. You wake up again to the same cycle. And you do nothing different. And you know there's not going to be a change in outcome until you change something. You got to change the input to change the output. Right? So you keep doing the same thing. Nothing changes. Year after year, you go through this cycle. and you go, what in the world is happening with my life? Well, you're happening. You haven't gotten serious about what you want to accomplish. You've taken time for granted. You've taken life for granted. And in a few years, you're going to be sitting next to that old man. And you're going to be living and dying with regret. Because you're going to say, man, there were so many things I could have done differently. And I'll never have the opportunity to do it. I never want to live like that. I never want to die like that. I want to look back and go, you know what? I may not have been successful in everything I tried, but damn if I didn't try. I tried everything. I want my family and my kids to say, boy, my dad, he swung at every pitch that came. He took a shot at everything no matter what pitch came, he was taking a swing. Right? And he struck out a lot. And that's just the way it is. But boy, did he keep swinging. And that's how I want to go down. The question is, how do you want to go down? If I'm going down swinging. I know I'm running out of time. You're running out of time. Why not get something done while you still have time? This is a beautiful life we get. Right? An amazing life. Beautiful life. Why not turn it into something special? Why not do everything you can to put yourself in the best position possible right now to live your best life right now? And then when you're gone, pass it on to those behind you. Say, hey, I lived my best life. This allowed me to do it. Now I want to pass it to you so you can enjoy life. Right? Let's put ourselves in position to win in life. Let's put ourselves in position to be happy, to be successful. A lot of us, we always think about other people's happiness. We're consumed by other people's happiness. And not in a bad way. Not that it's a bad thing to want to see other people happy. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing. But we forget our own happiness. We're in the pursuit of other people's happiness more than we're in pursuit of our own happiness. We're out there chasing other people's dreams harder than we're chasing our dreams. We're fighting for other people harder than we're fighting for ourselves. And again, none of those things are bad. It's just that, what about you? Who's fighting for you? If you're fighting everybody else's battles, who's fighting your battles? If you're fighting at your job Monday through Friday and Saturday and Sunday, 8, 10, 12 hours a day to make sure this company makes money and so that these CEOs and owners can stay rich, and there's nothing wrong with that, then who's fighting for you to make sure that you have wealth? Right? You go to work, the CEO goes home, goes on vacation. Why? Because you're going to be at work. You're going to take care of the job part. They're going to take care of the living. They're going to go out and enjoy life while you make sure they can. Again, nothing wrong with that. If you develop a business and you're the CEO, you should be able to enjoy life. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm just trying to bring the perspective to you that while you're out fighting for someone else to live their best life, who's fighting for you? Who's making sure you live your best life? Why are you always stressed and struggling when you're doing all this work? How come your paycheck doesn't give you the life you want to live? How come everybody's giving you all this money advice and they're struggling and you're still struggling? They told you to buy a house, you bought a house, now what? Now it's struggle every day. Every month you're struggling just to pay off the house. You wanted a new car, you went out and got it, struggled for 5, 6, 7 years just to pay off a car that doesn't even hold its value. Nothing wrong with those things. If you watch my videos, you know there's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. And I know I'm the lone voice on the internet saying, hey, don't buy houses, don't buy cars this way, right? And what way is that? Don't buy them with your paycheck. Why? Because that's prison. However long you have the house mortgage, that's how long you're going to be in prison. Because you got to have that paycheck to pay for it. It's that simple. Don't use a paycheck to buy those things. But that old man and that regret, it just came through his soul and touched me like, man, Sean, see the future. I always believe that older folks allow you to see the future. Because if you're 25 and the person, you're talking to somebody who's 45, 55, that person's 20, 30 years ahead of you. right? Yes, it's still the same year for both of you, but that person's lived longer than you. And so you can look at that person and see the future and go, wait a minute, if I don't do the things I'm supposed to do now, just like I looked at that guy and go, wait a minute, if I don't do the things I'm supposed to do and I'm capable of doing now, 30 years from now, I'm you. And I'm the old man and regret. And I'm sitting here trying to advise someone else, don't make the same mistakes. And I know it hurts inside. You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it in their voice, in their language. Just, you can sense it. And I appreciate when somebody's reaching out saying, hey, I made a mistake, bro, sister. Don't do what I did. Please don't. Right? And let's find out. Let's help each other. There's a Bible story. And in fact, Jesus told the story. And I think it was probably Luke chapter 17, I want to say. And I could be wrong. And Jesus told the story of the rich man and Lazarus, right? And Lazarus ended up in Abraham's bosom because he accepted the Lord, or the coming Lord. This was before the cross. And the rich man ended up in hell. Not just hell, a burning side of hell. We know that hell is like, I always say it's like a big apartment building. Every room ain't on fire. But this room was. He was in the burning side of hell. And he wasn't in hell because he was rich. Was it? No, Abraham was rich. Isaac was rich. Jacob was rich. Moses was rich. Right? Jesus was rich. I know y'all don't think he was, but he wasn't poor. I know we like to say that, but he wasn't poor. He was a king with the kingdom. So he operated as a man. He didn't use his power to do all the things. Satan tried to tempt him and said, hey, I know you're hungry. You've been out here 30 days. You know you can just say the word. Satan knew he could. But Jesus said, hey, I hadn't heard from my Father. He hadn't told me to do that. I'm not stepping outside of his will, which would have destroyed all of us if he had, right? And so Jesus told the story and he said, hey, that's why it's not a parable. That's why I didn't say parable, because Jesus used names and he told the story himself. And he said, hey, look, this rich man was down there and he looked across to Abraham. Abraham was down there too, but they were separated and Abraham wasn't burning. And he said, hey, look, if you don't mind, send somebody back to warn my family. Let them know not to come here. So that guy was conscious, burning, tortured, tormented, and still thinking about his family. From hell, thinking about his family, saying, please let him know not to come here. Loving his family from hell. Loving on them from a burning eternity. He's still there. Burning eternity, loving on his family from hell, saying, please send somebody back. Please let them know not to come here. And he's still there. And Jesus told this story some 2,000 years ago, and that guy's still there. Wow. So, again, I was wrong, and I need to stop saying you have time. You don't have time. You're running out of that stuff. Take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of you, whatever it is. I teach people how to start middleman businesses from their phone. I want to see you be successful. That's why I'm with you every step of the way. But that might not be what's best for you. So I'm not telling you it's best for you. I'm just telling you that's something I teach. And it's helping a lot of people. But if that's not what's best for you, then find out what's best for you. Find out what's best for you so that you can enjoy this life, because it is short. It is short. It is over quickly. It's over quickly. I think the Bible says something along the lines of 1,000 years is like a day to God. But God's outside of time. He gave us time so we can measure. He doesn't need that. That's why eternity has no beginning and no end. So a lot of you've been praying for change. Opportunity has come and presented itself and you've rejected it. You looked at your wallet and said, I can't afford it. No, you can't afford not to. You looked at your family and said, I got to keep this job because I got to play it safe. No, you got to take risk or you're not going to change their lives. I'm not telling you risk everything and if you lose, your family ends up homeless. No, be smart about what you do. Minimize your risk. Be intentional. A lot of you wake up Monday mornings, you hate it because you know you're not walking in purpose, you're not walking in fulfillment. Friday comes, you celebrate, you get that little measly paycheck, and then you give it to everybody else, you disperse it, you distribute it to everybody else, and you're left with pennies, and then you just try to enjoy your Saturday and make it through Sunday, where you start getting ready for work, and then you're back at work and you hate your life. You know you don't belong there, but you don't know what to do. I'm here to tell you what to do. Your job, if you're not walking in fulfillment, is to find purpose, to find fulfillment, to find the lane that you should be traveling in, and then to go do it quickly. Follow your gut. God gave you that gut feeling. If you feel like, hey, I need to start a business, go start a business. If you feel like, hey, I need to invest, go invest. If you feel like, hey, I need to flip a house, go flip a house. I don't care what you do. You got to get out of the cycle that you're in. That's complete struggle life. You got to change something, or nothing's going to change. You're going to be the old man in regret. And I don't want to be that way, and I don't want you to be that way. I don't want you to be the old woman in regret. Right? Don't live life in the struggle lane and then die and go, man, I wish I would have done something different. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. I'm not even afraid of death. I'm afraid of dying with regret, knowing I got all this equipment and tools God gave me and I didn't use them. I got to turn them all back in. I got to turn all this equipment back in. Here, God, you gave me a hammer, but I never used it. You gave me a screwdriver. It's really nice. I didn't use it. You gave me this awesome power drill. I didn't use it. And God's going to say, what did you do? What'd you do with all that stuff I gave you? You evil servant. Would God call you evil because you didn't use your tools? Let's see. There's a parable in the Bible about the 5 talents. And the owner, who's God, goes away. He distributes the talents, just like tools. The tools, equipment that he gave to you to come into this life with. And he comes back, and 2 invest, and 2 multiply it. And he say, look, y'all are good servants. And then 1 says, look, I know you are a hard master, and I know you're serious about your returns. And so I didn't want to risk anything. Sounds like you. I didn't want to risk anything. I played it safe, and I buried it. Yep, kept it in the ground, didn't do anything with it, and I'm giving it back to you just the way you gave it to me. And then what does God say? You evil and wicked servant. You knew I wanted a return. The least you could have done was put it in a bank and get interest. But you didn't do that. You did nothing. You played it safe. And so for that, I'm going to take what you do have, the little you do have, and I'm going to give that to someone else who did more with what I gave them. Woo! Come on, man. Come on. If this don't inspire you, I don't know what is. It's probably the realest video I've ever done. But I just want to tell you guys, you're running out of time. Life is going to pass you by. 2025 is already on the way. It's already on the way. What are you doing in your 2024 to prep for your best 2025? What are you doing? What are you going to do? Your finances are not going to change themselves. You've got to change to change. That's a fact. If you want to get into my masterclass, write the word masterclass in the link below, in the comments below. You could jump into the masterclass. It's not expensive. It's going to bless you and change your life. Don't make excuses. Don't complain about, where you are. Do something. Don't push things back when you know you need to change. Don't do that. Don't do it at all. Don't do it at all. If you're a go-getter, get in the masterclass. You want to get into one of my live trainings, type the word middleman in the comments. Get an invite to one of my live trainings. It's on Zoom. Come sit down with me for an hour. Learn how to build your business. It's going to bless you. Right? I'm just telling you, don't you live and die and be the old man with regret. You don't know this, but life's going to pass you by. And I don't want you to look back and go, man, I saw that video so many years ago and I knew he was talking to me, but I didn't do anything to change. And now I'm leaving this world full of regret. What a sad way to die. Don't die that way. Guys, I hope this blessed you. I know I didn't talk a lot about money and business and finance like I normally do, but I just felt in my heart that this is the message we need. If you don't mind, share this video with somebody else. I know some of you, this touched you. You're probably sitting there crying. Like, I get emotional just thinking about this. Like, man, life's gonna go by one day. It's just gonna go by. One day we're not gonna get up. It's gonna be over with. The question is gonna be, what did you do with the dash? What does that dash represent on your tombstone? You're born this year, died this year. What about the dash? The dash is your life. What happened in between the day you were born and the day you died? What did you do with it? Don't die and be the old man with regret. Peace.